Shalom, Ka'Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings, salutations as always to the hopefully elect Tabernacle of David, the sincere Akim and Akwath. Listen and learning, keeping the faith and diligence of our Lord Yahweh Shai unto all is fulfilled, and Lord will we are redeemed. So just want to touch on this lesson through the spirit, kind of do a spiritual commentary on this video. As you can see the title, How Empires Fall and Why the US is Next. So out here, especially here in Babylon the Great, even before Trump came into office, there's a spirit that's in the land of languishing, people suffering, people not having any hope or belief in the future of America. And you can read about that in Isaiah, the 24th chapter, where it says that the haughty people of the land do languish. All right? So now that Trump has gotten into the White House, on his inauguration day, he made a statement that this is the golden age for America, pretty much meaning that America is about to enter into the height of its supremacy, which in reality, that's a bill of false goods that he's selling to people, because America reached its height, its apex, a long time ago. And America, really ever since the mid to late 1960s, has been on a steady decline. And ever since 2020, it's been a rapid decline to this point. So what Trump has been set up to do, he's been set up to give the people a false hope so that they can continue to give their energy to America, so that they can continue to pour into this place and believe in this system. When the scriptures say that all those who trust within the broken reed of Egypt, this failing system, they're pretty much going to be confounded. And that is exactly what's getting ready to happen to these people. They're getting ready to be confounded. They're about to lose everything, and their leaders are about to turn on them. But really, they already have turned on them, but the betrayal is about to be even more profound. So when you consider even every empire that's ruled on the earth, whether it be ancient Rome, ancient Egypt, ancient Assyria, ancient Babylon, the Persians and the Medes, they all fell. They all had a time where they started out and the Lord raised them up to become great empires. But then there came an appointed time where the Lord began to diminish these powers. And the Lord does this when they reach the height of their pride. Being that now, if you watch that Trump inauguration, he spoke very proudly. And this is how you know that the Lord is about to bring a great destruction to America, Babylon the Great. Because these people, now that Trump is back in office, these Edomites are out here proud as hell, because they really think they're about to get their country back. But they got another thing coming. So yeah, we're going to tap into this video, How Empires Fall and Why the US is Next. And everybody can feel it. Everybody knows that the spirit here is just off. Everybody can feel that America ain't what it used to be. And if you've been around for more than 20 years, then you can attest to that fact yourself. You know that America ain't what it was, even, not even 10 years ago. Damn sure not 20 or 30, 40 years ago. All right, even further. All right, this place has changed for the worse. And it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmiel Shai. So let's get into this. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying.
Every empire falls. That is certain. no matter how long they reigned and how far their rule stretched. From the Romans who ruled for over 1,000 years, to the Ottomans who spanned continents, and the USSR that changed the political landscape of the modern world. So is the empire we're living under today also crumbling?
Yes. The key question is how fast.
We have bounties beyond those known to the people of any other day.
American democracy is obviously limping on both feet.
America is not the greatest.
Oh, and by the way, I forgot to make the copyright disclaimer. I'm not making money off this video. This is strictly for educational purposes. I'm not making no money off this video.
Country in the world anymore.
The US empire is falling, and there are 3 symptoms of its impending demise that we can see from looking to the past. Let's start with the oldest of the bunch. These videos are made possible by our supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help us tell more stories like this, you can become a paying member through the link in the description. Now back to the video. The Roman Empire oversaw the lives of millions of people. Remnants of its great reign still stand in cities across the world, a testament to their reach and influence in the lands they conquered.
Never has Rome been greater or stronger than now.
But then, after 1,000 years of domination, it fell. And just like Rome wasn't built in a day, it didn't fall in one either. Instead, the fall of the Roman Empire was death by 1,000 cuts.
Winter has arrived in Gaza, the nights are cold, and thousands of children have nothing to protect them from the harsh winter.
But there's one factor in particular we're going to look at: internal decay.
At the height of its grandeur and its glory, a civilization so powerful it could never be conquered from without. Yet it found the seeds of its destruction within itself.
There was a huge disparity between the lives of the elite and the commoners. Rome's elites lived in grand estates, hosting lavish, decadent banquets where they'd feast on peacock tongue and wine from naked waiters.
Every one of these senatorial families has holdings all over the Roman Empire. They're the equivalent of small multinational corporations. They are wealthy in a way that is impossible for us to understand.
The poor lived a very different reality. They worked menial jobs and lived mostly on bread and porridge, living in overcrowded, badly built buildings, prone to collapse and spreading disease.
The games are all about the Roman emperors giving the people what they need, and it's always described as bread and circuses. They had to feed the people of Rome, but once they were fed, they had to be entertained.
Let the games begin!
There were
You see, and really Rome, when you look at all of what was going on before the fall of mainly the western portion of Rome, because you had a certain point to where the empire was unified, but there was a divide. I forget exactly. Maybe I think it was in the 200s or the 100s AD, somewhere around there. Matter of fact, we could just do this. When was Rome divided? Yeah, AD 395. For centuries, Rome was the center of the empire, but as Rome's fortunes changed, the seat of power eventually shifted away from the city, and the empire permanently split into 2 separate states in AD 395, one in the east and one in the west. So the one that fell was the western portion of the Roman Empire. All right. When you go into prophecy, it tells you that the beast who had the sword, who had the wound by the sword, all right, which was the Western Roman Empire, but then did live, okay, which came back through the Renaissance as the NATO and the EU today. All right, so the rebirth of Rome came around the 1400s, all right, known as the Renaissance, where Esau came back into power, after being ruled over by Jake during the Dark Ages. Right, then they went out and colonized the desolate places. As it says in Malachi, we shall rebuild the desolate places. The Esau will build, the Lord will throw down. All right, the age of colonization, they went out and they rebuilt Rome, but basically all over the earth again. So the Western Roman Empire came back into great power during the time of the Renaissance till this day. And as this video was going into, before the outside invaders came in and finally took down the great Western Roman Empire, you had internal decay. You had decay from within. You see? And you seeing the same thing happen today. This is why, as it says, why the U.S. is next. Because the U.S., modern day America, right, which is known as Mystery Babylon within the scriptures, right? And that's, is that Revelation? I think that's, matter of fact, we do this. I think that's Revelation 18 or 17, one of those chapters. Mystery Babylon. Yep, Revelation 17. Matter of fact, we can start at the top. Revelation, see, the doom of Babylon. Okay, now this ain't talking about ancient Babylon, because ancient Babylon wasn't destroyed with fire. Okay, but this modern day Babylon, okay, Mystery Babylon the Great, this will be. The doom of Babylon, Revelation 17:1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So America, what is the #1 export that America produces and ships overseas? It's not really anything tangible, because we know that America don't really produce much, all right? But the #1 exporter that comes from America is the culture. You see, this is why, especially when you look back during the tenure of Barack Obama, all right, he was going to African nations, he was going to the so-called Middle East, you know, he was going to Asia, and they were trying to do what? They were trying to push that Moism. Okay, they was trying to push that LGB lifestyle on these nations. You see, and they was trying to pay them off and incentivize certain things. All right, then you have the movies, the social media. You know, all these things come out of America and contribute to what? The wine. Okay, these different philosophies, these different ways of life. Okay, men can be women, women can become men. All right, the woman, she can have a career. You know, she doesn't have to be under a man. You know, she can be free to do what she wants to do. They can dress any type of way. When you go to these other nations that are more conservative, if you will, you don't see the lifestyle that you have here in America permeate over there, because the laws are different. And they understand that the ways of America, the wine of America, leads to destruction. All right, but nonetheless, you have that American influence that's being pushed out all around the earth. That's why when you look at the nations that are aligned with America, like you look at Japan, all right? Japan before American influence was completely different than what it is now. If you go to Japan today, it's pretty much like America, just with Moab, Salakia, or Ammon over there. You see? Because why? That American influence. That's that wine. Verse 3, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast. Right? Pay attention to that beast right there. Full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now, let's go to Daniel, the 2nd chapter, right? Because we're going to see what this beast that's being referred to in Revelation 17 is talking about. Okay, remember the doom of Babylon. Okay, that's the header for that chapter, Daniel 2, and we can go down to about verse 40. Right, so these are the different kingdoms, right, that have ruled upon the earth. All right, when Daniel had that vision, and he was interpreting the dream to King Nebuchadnezzar. Right, so the first kingdom to rule on the earth was Babylon. Okay, then it was what? After them came the Medo-Persian Empire. Then the Greeks came with Alexander, and then it was Rome, okay, which we're in the latter end of the Roman Empire today, right? Now this is Rome, Daniel 2 and verse 40. And the 4th kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. Whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. Okay, now we are in the feet and the toes of the current Roman Empire, okay, which America is the head of this current beast system. You see? Part of potter's clay and part of iron. The kingdom shall be divided. See? So like this video was going into, there was internal decay from within the Roman Empire back then. And you seeing the same thing happen. Why? Because there's nothing new under the sun. All right? Reincarnation is a thing in the scriptures. Okay, what was then is now. So the same internal decay that led to the fall of the ancient Western Roman Empire, you're seeing it happen today in this new Western Roman Empire. You see? So everything comes back around, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Basham Shai. The kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Now, as the video was going into, you had a vast difference between the lifestyle of the rich and the lifestyle of the poor. All right, so the rich, they came up with a method to deal with the discontent of the poor, and they gave them what? Bread and circus. Okay, and I forget who made this statement, but they said if you give the people bread and circus, then they'll never rebel. All right, because you know they're entertained and they're fed. That's all you need to occupy the minds of the common people. All right, so that's how for a long time the elites were just able to, you know, just run circles around the common people. But there came a point where the Lord raised up his spirit amongst the poor that were in Rome, and you also had a lot of jakes that were in ancient Rome as well. All right, but you had a spirit that the Lord put in the midst to cause division, and eventually there was civil wars. All right, they started to devalue the money. They started to tax the citizens heavily. You know, Rome kept expanding the empire. Then, from all the territories that they conquered, they made a lot of enemies. So all these things combined, amongst the internal division, was a ripe situation for destruction, if you will. Okay, this is what led to the fall of ancient Rome, and this is what is going to lead to the fall of Rome today. This new Rome, this new technological revised Rome. All right, is why I say the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken, even within the NATO and the EU. You see, you have America, Trump. He's like, we're gonna put America first, and pretty much our NATO allies, we're gonna put them on the back burner because they're not contributing enough to the military budget. All right, there's even talks of America backing out of NATO. And of course, you have cultural differences within the beast as well. You know, you have everybody's not on one accord. That's the point. Okay, that's why it's divided, right? So now going back to Revelation, the 17th chapter. All right, and I think that's in Jeremiah 51. Matter of fact, let's go to Jeremiah 51 real quick. I think it speaks about, let me see, Jeremiah 51 speaks about that golden cup as well. Jeremiah 51. Yeah, Jeremiah 51:6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. So see, vengeance is coming to Babylon the Great. 2nd Ezra 9. When you start to see the uproars of the people, when you start to see earthquakes and famines and pestilence and plagues, this is when the Lord is beginning to visit the earth. And guess what? The Lord visiting the earth is synonymous with the fall of this new modern day Rome, the fall of Esau. Right? Because Esau rules over this modern day Rome just as he did the ancient Rome. Once again, everything comes back around, reincarnation. All right? Be not, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken, like we read in Revelation the 17th chapter. Okay, that wine, okay, which these nations got drunk off of, right? It's echoing the same thing here in Jeremiah the 51st chapter. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. What's going to happen? Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. Now, going back to Revelation 17, right? And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And I remember the elder Yashawamba, he went into a great lesson going into how America is the mother of harlots. All the ancient deities and the ancient customs and practices of the ancient civilizations are back here today in America. So America is pretty much a conglomeration of philosophies, of cultures and ways of life that were pagan and anti-Messiah of the ancient kingdoms all rolled into one. So you'll find a little bit of every ancient kingdom here in America, Babylon the Great. In American culture, you see Egypt, you see ancient Babylon, you see ancient Assyrian culture. Okay, definitely Greece and Rome, because that's the main mold of what this whole system is built off of, Greco-Roman culture. All right. The Medo-Persian Empire. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll see Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, all these ancient kingdoms. You know what I'm saying? You have a little bits and pieces of it here in Babylon the Great. Okay, that's why it says a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, 7 heads and 10 horns. Now these 7 heads and 10 horns. All right, this goes into the modern-day Roman Empire. Okay, mainly dealing with the NATO and the EU. Okay, we've done lessons going into the 7 heads and the 10 horns. So that breakdown is out there. All right, for the sake of time, I'm not going to touch on it in this lesson, but if you need the breakdown, you just leave a comment. We'll get you right. Revelation 17:4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand. Remember, we just read in Jeremiah the 51st chapter, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, right? Having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Now this woman, this arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones, denotes what? That this woman is rich, okay? That she has many possessions, she has a vast amount of wealth, all right? And she's holding a golden cup, okay, which represents being exalted, pride, okay? Being glorious, okay, in these riches and the wine and these things, right? Verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. You see that? So America is known as Mystery Babylon the Great. Okay, this place is the new and improved Western Roman Empire, and it's also Babylon, because when you go into the mother of harlots, okay, like I just said, you'll find you find a lot of what was going on in ancient Babylon here in America going on today. It's the same thing. Okay, when it refers to the mother of harlots, that's talking about all the abominations that the ancient kingdoms practice. They've all come back to harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, which are the Israelites, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushai. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. All right. So this place, America, this mystery Babylon, right? This place was drunken with the blood of the saints. Now we know what happened to the saints, the Israelites here in America, Babylon the Great. Okay, we were slaughtered wholesale. First when Esau came over and Northern Kingdom was here, slaughtered them by the millions. Then, he brought, Southern Kingdom, slavery, and the whole nine, man. All right, we know the history. All right, and the martyrs of Yahushai. Okay, because this devil, as it says in Revelation 12:12, he's going to come down with great wrath. All right, so those that are that hold the testimony of Yahushai, the scriptures say that some of us are going to be martyrs. Some of us are going to, lose our life, for this testimony, for this faith, right? And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Now, John the Revelator, when he was on the island of Patmos seeing his vision, he didn't understand what this vision meant, right? Because ultimately, these visions, these prophecies were not meant to be broken down at that time. These prophecies were meant for a later generation, really the generation that we're in now, because we're at the end of this current age. All right, this is why you have prophets on the scene now to break these prophecies down, to break these visions down, and give the understanding for our people to understand. All right, but John the Revelator, when he was seeing these things, he didn't understand what these things meant, right? But he was, he wrote down, what he was seeing. But the vision is for interpretation now. This is why the prophets are on the scene. Okay, so what was then is now, right? Now let's go back to the video and check out some more.
Famines, peasant uprisings, and slavery, and the Roman tax system disproportionately impacted the lower classes, while the wealthy often avoided taxes through exemption or corruption.
This is now a new era of Roman history. Rome is no longer what it was. Rome is in decline.
The middle class was shrinking.
Imagine making 400.
Every empire falls. People, remnants of its great. These videos are made possible by our supporters on taxes through exemption or corruption.
This is now a new era of Roman history. Rome is no longer what it was. Rome is in decline.
Yeah, so you heard that. That's what I wanted to go back to, Salakia. But you heard that. Rome is no longer what it was. It's in decline. Same thing with America, Babylon the Great today. All right, this place ain't what it was. It's on a major decline, man. And it's only going to get worse. Let's continue.
The middle class was shrinking, and the economy became increasingly polarized between the very rich and the very poor, all fueling resentment and instability. So what does this tell us about the US?
Home they've always dreamed of, the happiest investment they have ever made.
The middle class was once a symbol of the American dream. It meant owning your own home with a white picket fence, a car, kids going to school, a perceived ease and quality of life that couldn't be found anywhere else in the world.
You see, and this was when America was in its golden age, okay? Right after World War II, when there was a surplus of goods and America was on top, the dollar became the world reserve currency. That's when America was in its golden age, okay? Back in the late 40s, 1950s and early 1960s. After that, America started to decline. All right, but this is when Trump talks about make America great again. This is what he's referring to. This is what the MAGA supporters, this is what they're talking about when they say make America great again. They want to go back to this. All right, this was the apex of America. All right, but hey, this place can't be healed. When you go to Jeremiah the 51st chapter, it tells you. Let's go back to it. Jeremiah 51 and verse 8. Yeah, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. You see that? So this place judgment, okay, because what we just read in Revelation 17 chapter, the blood of the saints, all right, the martyrs for Yahushai, the blood is crying out from the ground, man. So this is why the judgment has reached unto heaven. All the abominations you have going on here, all the Moism and child trafficking and Satanism and all these wicked cabals that exist here. Like, America is really just one big what do you call it? America is just one big gumbo of wickedness, man. All right, this place exudes wickedness to the core. And why is this? Because the ruler himself, he is the wicked. This is why America is so perverse, because really America is the most wicked kingdom that exists upon the face of the earth today. No other nation compares. Now, I'm not saying that other nations aren't wicked, but this place here, you're not going to go anywhere else in the world and find the amount of wickedness here, and you know, find as wicked as a nation as America, Babylon the Great. All right, and I dare anybody to challenge me on that. All right, but yeah, you know, this place is the pinnacle of wickedness. This is why it says, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and lifted up even to the sky. See, the wickedness of Babylon the Great has reached unto the heavens, man. Verse 10, the Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord. Right? And this is why this place is reserved for destruction. Because this place has had its time to live well, eat well. You know what I'm saying? Blaspheme the Most High. You know, America crucified Yahweh Shai. Okay? Promoted that. Cesare Borgia. All right, made all these films and movies, and you know what I'm saying, pretty much taught against the scriptures and taught our people to be against Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So this is why this place must be destroyed. Let's continue.
And that anyone could achieve so long as they worked hard enough.
We are a prospering people, wherever we live or earn our livelihood.
But for the past few decades, that's all become increasingly out of reach for lots of Americans.
Some people skipping meals because they simply can't afford it.
The number of people experiencing homelessness in a single night went up 12%.
Every year, hundreds of thousands of people are literally asking for donations to afford medical treatment.
Our roads and bridges are crumbling, our airports are out of date, and the vast majority of our seaports are in danger of becoming obsolete.
But Americans from the grocery store to the gas station are seeing their budgets tighten every single month.
And the changes suggested would mean higher taxes for the average American family, widening America's already massive income gap.
90% of the wealth is right here in the top. And then the lower middle class, they've got 0.3% of a piece. Yeah, they have some crumbs there. And the poorest, they have no pie. In fact, they have less than no pie. They actually have a bill for pie. They're in pie debt.
They're struggling to meet rent or mortgage payments, repay college loans, to repay loans for a car.
While the wealthy have become steadily wealthier, wages have been stagnant and costs of living have surged. And it's not like these changes are mutually exclusive. It's off the backs of workers, off the exploitation of the American masses, that the wealthy continue to engorge themselves.
Elon Musk has officially become the richest person in the world. His net worth has crossed the $400 billion mark.
Companies buying out the housing market, insurance companies making healthcare unaffordable, politicians taking money from lobbies to protect corporate interests and fill their own pockets, and the working class is well aware.
Hoarding wealth is so harmful, so unethical, so rage-inducing.
Billionaires should not exist. So you talk about teacher's salary, $2,000 in rent, $400 car payment, you got insurance, you got groceries, electricity. Like, I don't understand how people are affording life right now.
And see, look, right now, what's going on is that the elites, the rulers, just like it was in ancient Rome, they started coming down heavy on the people, and really Yahweh Bashem Shai has put a spirit on the elites to come down heavy on these Babylonians, because now is the time for Babylon to be visited, right? Let's go to Jeremiah the 50th chapter, right? And all these things go into the great sorrows and mournings that our Lord Yahweh Shai told us we come upon the land in these last days. Jeremiah chapter 50 in verse 31, it says, "Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud." Now, who is the most proud? Right? The most proud is referring to Esau, Edom, because this current world that we live in is ruled over by the Edomites, okay, the so-called white people, okay, starting with the elites of them, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, DuPonts, the Getty. See, we're not afraid to say names over here, man. All right, because you have these certain individuals that go on podcasts and they got these shows and they'll just refer to these individuals as the globalists, right? But they won't go into who these globalists are. What nation do they come from? Who are they aligned with? What are their philosophies for this new world that they want? Well, it all goes back to the Edomites, okay, rich so-called white men, right? That are at the top, right, making these policies, giving orders to the puppets that they set up in these cabinets. Okay, Trump himself is a puppet for the elites. You see? Yeah, it says, "O thou most proud, saith the Lord God, Yahweh Bashmel Shai of hosts, for thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee." So now is the time, all right? This is why these people are languishing. Everybody's complaining, nobody's happy. Okay, and this all goes into the N to the W to the O agenda. And they're prepared to bring complete hell, more hell on the people. All right, you got Trump, he's talking about tariffs, he's talking about executive orders for the Space Force, signing all kind of other executive orders. I have to get into that, Lord willing. You know what I'm saying? But this is what you have now. Okay, nobody's happy. Everybody is languishing. They're wasting away in this system. Right? As you heard the Shita might say, I don't know how people are affording life right now. Why? Because this is the squeeze. Okay, this is the squeeze to get you to what? Run to Egypt for help, man. To run to the elites so that you will beg them for their solution, which is going to come in form of what? A digital technocracy. Okay, they're also going to induce you to align yourself with their system by fear and terror. And we saw that happen on the January 1st of this year, man. Terror events all over the place. So these devils, they're hitting you from multiple angles, a multi-pronged attack, all right, to get you to what? Ultimately submit and accept the MOTB. Right, this is what this is all about. Going back to Jeremiah 50, right? This is the time that the Lord is visiting the most proud. Okay, the kingdom of Esau, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right, Jeremiah 50 and 32. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities. Okay, right now as we speak, LA is burning. San Diego now is also burning. All right, you have multiple cities that are on fire right now. And didn't Yahweh Shai say that behold, I come swiftly, and what will I if the fire be already kindled? Roughly paraphrasing. Right, so the fire is literally already kindled on the earth, and that's leading up to Isaiah the 66th chapter. Okay, where it says matter of fact, let's just go to it real quick. Isaiah 66, the Lord coming with fire. Okay, because hey, this place is going to receive the judgment of a whore, which is to be burned with fire. Right? Yeah, Isaiah 66 and 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. Right? For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Right? So the Lord is coming with fire to quench this place, man. That's the judgment of a whore. All right, and that's the judgment also because this place is referred to as what? Spiritual Sodom. All right, and what was the judgment of Sodom and Gomorrah? Fire and brimstone rained down from heaven upon those lands and destroyed the whole plain. So much so to even now, to this very day, nothing grows in that area, man. That whole place is desolate, and it's going to be the same thing that's going to happen here in America, Babylon the Great. All these things entail the fall of this modern day Rome. All right, where was I at? Yeah, and I will kindle a fire in the cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Right? Verse 35. A sword is upon the Chaldeans. Okay, which this modern day beast system, especially America, this is the land of the modern day Chaldeans. Okay, which the ancient Chaldeans were your sorcerers and warlocks. Okay, which when you go into Hollywood and the enchantments that come out of the White House, the different political parties, it all goes into sorcery and witchcraft. Okay, saith the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. Okay, when you go to Obadiah, it says, shall I not even destroy the wise men out of Edom? Okay, so the Lord is going to completely wipe this place out, man. He's not going to leave Esau neither root nor branch. All right. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. Right. So, hey, the Lord is drying up the enchantments here, man. Okay. And this is a beautiful thing to watch, because these people are literally losing their mind. And see, right now they think that Trump is for them, like he's going to do them a service and restore them. But when they really see the devil's horns pop out, that's when they going, 2nd Esdras 15-16, okay, where it says that they shall not regard their kings nor princes. You know what I'm saying? That, people going to be going around, with the sword looking for what they can spoil, because it's going to be anarchy out here, man. And Esau, he's going to induce and encourage the anarchy. All right? So let's continue with this.
$400 car payment, you got insurance, you got groceries, electricity. Like, I don't understand how people are affording life right now.
For 5 stitches, $3,800.
What?
Like, it's so freaking hard to live here.
North America is one big scam.
And then there's the internal social and political decay. People have become disenchanted with the illusion of American democracy, of its promises of equality, of equal opportunity for all as long as you pick yourself up by your bootstraps.
You can see a sea of people all united under one cause. They are protesting for racial equality.
The murder of a healthcare executive has led to online popularity for the shooter.
Mangione has emerged in some circles as a sympathetic figure fighting the system.
All this leads to political instability, economic trouble, and social unrest, which weakens the empire at its core. But an empire is bigger than its center. It's a network of vassal states serving the core's interests. And keeping all those entities in check is done through both soft power and hard power. That brings us to symptom number 2. To understand soft power and how it plays into imperial decline, let's look at the Ottomans.
It was a huge empire, dominated by a Turkish dynasty that had its origins in Asia Minor.
The Ottoman Empire was one of the most powerful and enduring empires in history, spanning 3 continents at its height. It was a hub of cultural and scientific innovation, producing advancements in medicine, astronomy, architecture, and engineering that changed the world.
They ruled a considerable mix of peoples and faiths.
There was no great history of ethnic tension, even though there was a history of massively complicated ethnic and confessional coexistence.
It lasted almost 600 years, until it didn't. One factor that contributed to its demise was its waning influence over the peoples and territories it had under its control, also known as the loss of soft power. Soft power is about being more persuasive than coercive, about getting people to comply without using force. In the case of the Ottomans, it was a delicate balance of diplomacy and cultural influence. But over time, the empire's ability to foster loyalty among diverse groups was eroding, aided by rising nationalism within these communities.
The Greeks were the first to rebel against the Ottoman shackles.
The minute you start getting a political world, this system is going to break down. And that is what happens in the 19th century, and that is the great conundrum for the empire.
People stopped buying into the vision of the empire and began to break off and pursue their own interests.
Yeah, so you heard that? People pretty much stopped buying into the system, and they pretty much went to do what they want to do. Why? Because they lost the soft power. They weren't able to be persuaded by the system anymore that you should buy into this, that you should believe in this. You see? Ultimately, because what your elites are telling you and what you're experiencing in reality is not lining up. So there's something wrong there. So what people are now beginning to figure out, this is why they wanted to ban TikTok, and they still probably will ban it. Like I heard that if you deleted the TikTok app, it's not on the App Store anymore, so you can't get it back. All right, so technically it's already banned. Like if you still have the app, you can use it, but the point is, people are not buying into the system anymore, and everybody's on social media talking about how, as we just saw in this clip, people talking about, I don't know how people are managing to pay rent and pay this and afford life and this and that. This is why America is falling so fast, because they've lost the trust of the people. The people no longer believe in the American dream because everything around them is expensive. The cost of life is just crazy right now. All right, among other things, you know, these wars overseas and, you know, the T attacks and, you know, this new infrastructure that's being set up. All these things combined is what is causing these Americans to go under. Right, and ultimately, why is all this happening? What, you know what I'm saying? Why is America, Babylon the Great falling like it is? Why is it not as strong as it was in the 1950s? Well, it's because ultimately the Lord setteth up the rules, the rulership of these kingdoms, of these kings. Right, when you go to Daniel, the 2nd chapter, you go to Daniel chapter 2, Daniel chapter 2 and 21, it says, you know what, let me start at 20. It says, Daniel answered and said, blessed be the name of Yahweh forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. Verse 21, and he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. So right now, Yahweh Bashmiel Shai is in the process of removing the current king over the earth, over Babylon the Great, which is who? Esau, Edom. All right? Again, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, Esau is the end of the world, right? He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. All right, so the Lord is in the process of removing this wicked king from off the earth. Now let's go to Daniel chapter 4. All right, because when you deal with Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar was taken down at what? The height of his pride. Okay? He ain't give no credit to Yahweh Bashmiel Shai. He said that my kingdom is this great because I did this, right? But let's see. Let's see what Daniel said to the king, right? Through the Spirit. Daniel 4 and 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. See, so the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. All right? And giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basest of men. You see that? So the Lord setteth up the basest of men to rule over the earth. And the Lord is the one that gave Esau his kingdom. The Lord is the one that allowed America, Babylon the Great, to become as great as it is today. And Esau is indeed the fact, the basis of men. And let's get that in Job, children of base men. Okay, speaking about the Edomites, right? Job, 30 and 8. They were, okay, now when you read up, you know what I'm saying, he's speaking about the Edomites, how they were driven forth from among men. You know what I'm saying? They were in the caves, and they was eating mallows by the bushes and braying like donkeys, and you see, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, the caves of the earth. But the point is here in verse 8, they were children of fools, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. That's why when you go back here, right, to Daniel the 4th chapter, it says, and setteth up over it the basis of men. So the Most High even raised up the caveman, the basis of men, to rule over the earth. And look at the state of the earth under the rule of the base man. It's completely destroyed. This is why the Lord is going to have to, completely take this man out of power, man, because he's not profitable to the planet Earth. As a matter of fact, he's been a detriment to the planet, man. Okay, he's been a detriment to the minds of the people. You know what I'm saying? Like, this man is over here making GMOs and fake meat that causes depression. All right, the food and the environment that this man's created on the earth literally is causing people to want to off themselves, man. That's, the Vatican opening up portals, all kind of demonic spirits coming in, man, and just messing up people's minds. Like, this is what the devil does, right? And that's why we go to Isaiah 63. Isaiah 63, we can start at the top. In verse 1, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? All right, now, as you see the header here, God's vengeance on the nations. So this is Isaiah prophesied it, but this is a future prophecy dealing with the last days. Okay, when Yahweh Shai returns, he's going to render his vengeance, his righteous indignation upon the nations, right? Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? Okay, Bozrah was the capital city of the Edomites, right? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth and the wine fat. I have trodden the wine press alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. Right? So when the Lord come back, all right, with the host of heaven, it's going to be a lot of killing. It's going to be a lot of people being slain. You see? This is what it's talking about here. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. But who is the Lord coming to deal with? Who is the Lord coming to judge? Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah. Okay, so all these Christian apologists, vocab, Edom has already been done away with. Well, if Edom has already been done away with, why is it saying Isaiah 63 that the Lord is coming from Edom? Okay, he's coming from Edom with dyed garment from Bozrah, man. All right, he's coming to what? To trod the wine press alone, man. To do a lot of unaliving. You see? So if Edom is already done away with, how can the Lord Yahweh Shah come back to judge them in the last days? It doesn't make any sense. But see, this is the cognitive dissonance that you have with these certain individuals who want to escape a biblical prophecy, who want to escape the judgment of Yahweh Basham Shai. But see, it's not going to work, man. Let's go to Ezekiel 35. We can get ready to close in a little bit. It's getting late. Ezekiel 35 and verse 1, it says, Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. Okay? Now, Mount Seir, that deals with the government of Esau. Okay, but of course, in Genesis, we know that was the first habitation, the first dwelling place of Esau, where he also had his government set up. All right, and prophesy against it. So the Lord say to prophesy against Mount Seir. All right, so the Lord is not for Esau, he's against him. All right, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. You see? So the Lord is going to lay the cities of Esau desolate, man. Why? Because this man has blasphemed the Most High. Okay, he has pushed nothing but unrighteousness and adverse ways in the earth. He's destroyed the earth. And we know the scriptures say that the Lord will destroy them that destroy the earth. Okay, so this man, Esau, the Edomites, they got, we read in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, it tells you that Edom features prominently in last days judgment. Okay, so Edom has to be around in the last days. And who is Edom? Well, we know who Edom is. Okay, these so-called Caucasian that you have out here. All right, but he's gonna lay their cities desolate, man, lay them waste. Right, verse 5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel. This is why Edom is going to be slated for great judgment. Right, and shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. You see that? So Esau, he forwarded the affliction. All right, he went too far with the judgment because we were given into his hands for a time to be punished. Right, but at the time that our iniquity had an end, he continued the affliction. He went too far with the judgment because why? That perpetual hatred that he has. All right, so this is the judgment of Esau, Edom, prophesy against Mount Seir. All right, and the judgment that Esau has coming is well deserved. You see, but hey, man, Babylon is falling. This place is going down fast. Right, we can watch a little bit more of this and we can close out.
Now, the US has been really good at soft power. It began after World War II, when the US positioned itself as a global leader promoting democracy, economic growth, and cultural influence.
Joe's the king because he can buy more with his wages than any other worker on the globe.
It is the most important idea that the United States has contributed to the world. Citizens of every rank can expect to have a better, richer, happier life.
It helped rebuild war-torn Europe, set up major global institutions where it continues to hold significant power, and has exported music, television, and pop culture across the world for decades. And the messaging of the soft power has been consistent and clear.
Shining city upon a hill.
See, and then all of that they just went into, that's the wine of Babylon the Great. See, let's play that back one more time.
Democracy, economic growth, and cultural influence.
Joe's the king because he can buy more with his wages than any other worker on the globe.
It is the most important idea that the United States has contributed to the world. Citizens of every rank can expect to have a better, richer, happier life.
It helped rebuild war-torn Europe, set up major global institutions where it continues to hold significant power, and has exported music, television, and pop culture across the world for decades. And the messaging of the soft power has been consistent and clear.
Shining city upon a hill. After 200 years, she's still a beacon, still a magnet for all who must have.
The shining city upon a hill. Don't that sound like Revelation 17, Jeremiah 51? That Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand? You see? It's all through the Spirit.
But for soft power to work, for people to buy into the fantasy and want to participate, they need to see credibility and moral consistency. Now, just to be clear, the US has violated the principles it preaches since its founding, not to mention since its emergence as a global hegemon. It seems the majority of people were willing to overlook that and buy into the American dream. But the illusion is falling apart.
The mob tore down scaffolding, battled their way through the last line.
Yeah, and that's the point. The illusion of the American dream is falling apart because, as you see right here, right? This is the legacy of Babylon the Great. Right? This is what America was built on. You know, they want to throw this, America is land of the free, home of the brave, all men are created equal, when this is how America was started. All right. First, you came over here and you slaughtered and enslaved the so-called natives. All right. Then you brought, so-called black men over here and had us enslaved. You know what I'm saying? And really, we're still in slavery to this very day. But really now, Esau, he's made a system to where everybody's enslaved. If you have a social security number, if you pay taxes, which is nothing more than paying tribute, then you're a slave to the elites. All right. But the point is, this is the legacy of America. All right. And this is why this place going to be judged, man, because you never rectified this. All right. You never repented of your evil. All the flood towns that you flooded out, the Black Wall Streets and the Rosewoods and the Trail of Tears, and we can go on and on about the atrocities of Esau Edom. All right, but even if you remove what he did to us, to the Israelites, you still got to pay because you destroyed the earth. This man that went all around the earth, pushed these perverse philosophies, taught falsehoods within the scriptures. You see? So there's a lot that these Edomites have to pay for. And this is why ultimately they're going to be eradicated off the earth after they serve their 1,000 years of hardcore slavery. You see, because the amount of wickedness that they've done, they can't repent, because for them to sincerely repent, the restitution that they would have to give would be over his pay grade. Let's just say it like that. All right. The bill is more than what Esau can afford, man. All right, so he's going to have to pay with his blood. And this is what's coming, man. See, this is why this empire is falling as it is. You see? Internal decay, man. Rome, once again, being smitten with the besom of the, matter of fact, let's get that. That's a spirit, with the besom of destruction. The Lord going to sweep this place. Isaiah 14. And yeah, matter of fact, we can yep, perfect. That's the spirit. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers. Let's get that thumbnail back, right? Prepare slaughter for the iniquity of their fathers. All right? for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant, and son and nephew, saith the Lord. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction. Okay, we go into that word besom. All right, let's hear Esau. Hold on. Yeah, let's hear Esau say it.
Strong's H 4292. Mat-ateh. Mat-ateh.
Right. When you go into biblical reference, biblical usage, a broom. Okay, so the Lord is saying that He gonna sweep, right, Babylon with destruction, man. Okay, from the east to the west, to the west to the east, north to south, all of Babylon is gonna be destroyed, saith the Lord of hosts. This is thus saith the Lord. All right, so all the wickedness that America has done over its 250-year history as a nation, but even longer as an institution, all this gonna have to be paid for and rectified, man. All right, when you go into the suffering of these people, the way these people are languishing, especially these other nations, but mainly these Edomites, it all goes back to the iniquity of your fathers, man. See, this is your judgment, and really you ain't seen nothing yet. All right, the Lord just giving you a taste of what's to come down the pipeline, but really all you Edomites, you gonna get your just due. Okay, it's coming. America's gonna fall very soon, and Lord willing to fall this year, man. Baba Kashah. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it right there. I ain't even want to make this lesson that long, but it's all through the Spirit. Call Allah Yah Bashmel Shai. So in closing, call Allah Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai Bahasham Racha Kadash. And until next time, Lord willing, Shalom to the elect, Kam Yasha Allah, and a Bible ball. On to the next one.